In most of the paintings I start with counting the plans, and then I try to locate them, and then I try to know how much time I need for every plan. So the first plan is always the sky in my paintings, because that's the brightest part, and that's the reference for the light and the shadows. That's the reference for the colors and the mood of the painting. And that's the layer that I paint with the most of, it's the most wet, the wettest layer in the painting. I used most water in that first layer, the first plan, because it's the brightest one. So you need a very, very transparent color to let the paper do its work and shine through the transparent layer. But when you have painted the sky, it's clever to immediately paint the ground as well, because the ground reflects that sky, and the mood in the sky determines the mood, so the color, the tone of the ground, as you know what I mean. So that's the first plan in my paintings, always the sky and the ground, the floor, the street, whatever. Then I let it dry, or almost dry, and then I have to know what the second plan will be. This is a very good example of this subject to show how plans work, because it wasn't difficult to see that the second plan is this silhouette in the distance. And it melts into those other silhouettes, those other buildings, and they have quite the same tone as those shadows here on the ground. So I could have painted them at the same, in the same layer, in the same plan as well. But I did not choose to do that because I needed the bicycles and the people first to know how these shadows, what they will look like. And then when this was dry, the third plan could be painted over here. I was afraid that the tree would become too hard, too dark. So first I did this tree. I used more water than I would do normally when I paint a tree, just to put it more back. Because when this tree is too hard and too dark, these people, the fence and the bicycles, have to become almost black. And I didn't want to make it black. Normally I do it, but I want to concentrate. I wanted to focus on those reflections, the whites, the orange, the yellow, and so on the fence, on the bicycles, and on the people. And when this had become too black, then you have a story told by very hard black traces and reflections. Less interesting. Then you shout too hard, in my opinion. So you have to make a choice, and I chose for the reflections. Hard white, hard yellow, and more softer, wet traces. Lekker hè? Puur kammeermorijn. Ongemengd.
Ja, maar dit is ondergrond voor zilver hoor.
Maar dat komt zilver.
Dit gaat in ieder geval, wat ik wilde doen is dus dit hier, een vlokkige zilver, dus dat je het hele pokdalig een beetje
So that's it for today. I worked one day on this one. It has been quite a busy week with visiting clients in the gallery, the dentist this afternoon. I have to do more on the tree, and I will take a picture and see this weekend at home if the light and the shadows are well balanced. Of course, one video is not enough to tell enough about layers, about a planning the painting. And when I think of planning a painting, I really mean the plans in the watercolor painting. So you have a first plan, the second plan, and a third plan. So the first one was the sky, the second one was the background, and then the third one beginning from the tree until here. When you don't think in plans, when you don't do it, or when you forget it, you will see that you are then it's dangerous. It's possible that you make this silhouette too dark, or you make the tree too dark, or the shadow over here with the people is too bright. So really mind those steps, those plans to create depth. Of course, there are more layers than plans, and I don't want to make it too difficult for you, but it's not in that way that every plan is one layer. So you should take care that you know when you are working in what plan you are working with your layers. So there is more to say about layers, and we'll do that in the member section video of this week. I made this painting for that video. One of my favorite subjects, a street here close to my studio. In the member section video, the layer stories, the plan story is quite the same. First plan, second plan, third plan. But how layers work and what I do in layers is told in that other video. I always use the same colors for the sky several months, and then after a season, for example, they will change. But I don't think in pigments then, I don't think in color. In that first layer, I only think in warm and cold, bright and dark. The second layer is not only a darker layer, but you have to determine for yourself when you cover the first layer with the second one. Watercolor painting is only about timing and how wet or how dry you make your paint. And of course we always are looking at the picture, the example, but this is only a memory of what I wanted to paint. When I copy that picture and I make the next layer in my painting as dark as that layer is on the picture, everything will go wrong because I'm not copying a picture. So that's what I mean by following those first two layers. These are very important. Those first two layers, they already make the mood. And these two layers determine what the painting will look like. Well, that was it for this week. For the Dutch people and the people living here in The Hague, you can go to Schipperslijsten in the Kazernestraat. That's my framer, and I will show there several recent watercolor paintings from this weekend until I think the third week of September. I will put a link in the description under this video, so then you can read more about it, and well, maybe we'll see you there. Thank you for watching, enjoy the weekend, and see you next week.